Now, you were asking me about...
Well, when you started out, you talked about playing. How did you first get to where you auditioned for the Grand Old Opry? What?
Oh, you had to have a hit record. It's still that way.
Uh-huh.
And back then, and it's still that way today to a great extent, you have to prove that you are more than a one-record artist. Of course, I'm best known for Down Yonder, but I've had 25 albums.
25, that's
and about
fantastic.
60 singles. And,
My goodness.
So, I mean, it proves that I can do something besides Down Yonder.
It sure does. Well, how did you happen to first audition for the Grand Ole Opry? You wrote a song first?
No, I didn't write a song.
How did you first get together with the Grand Ole Opry?
Well, Down Yonder got to be number one. No, it got to number 2 in the pop charts. It stayed there for 26 weeks in the top 10. And it only got to 8 in country. But I'm the only native Nashvilleian out of 62 acts, which comprises about 100 people. I'm the only one that was born and reared in Nashville. And I never had any desire to be anything but with the Grand Ole Opry. And so I signed with a big New York agency for booking. And I felt like a lost ball in high weeds. Those people didn't speak my language, and I didn't want to speak theirs. So I finally was invited to make an appearance on the Grand Ole Opry, and then was assigned as a regular on the network portion, which has been gone several years now, but Prince Albert Smoking Tobacco all over NBC. And this was such a boost for me, because back at that time, you were heard throughout the country and also overseas.
That's right.
And it was a real good boost. I stayed with the show till its demise.
Yeah. Well, how did you happen to write Down Yonder? What was the story
I didn't
of that
write
song?
this. I just had played it for square dances. And they wanted me to record a 10 Little Liza Jane because it was public domain and they wouldn't have to pay writer royalties or publishing rights. So I kept getting off on Down Yonder because I didn't know Little Liza Jane. And if you are familiar with both tunes, they're almost identical up to the middle part. And they said, well, go ahead and do Down Yonder. It's probably public domain too because it was an old fiddle tune. Come to find out, it was written by Wolfie Gilbert. And he wrote it in the 20s for Al Jolson. He later wrote a book that featured me in one entire chapter, the chapter being hits and misses. He wrote it for a hit for Jolson in the 20s and it missed. And then a miss made a hit out of it in 51.
That's a nice way to put it. That's great.
It was so nice. He's dead now, but it was such a thrill for me to meet him. He wrote Are You From Dixie? Robert, no, I don't know about that, but he did write Robert E. Lee, Waiting for the Robert E. Lee, and of course when you try to think you can't. But he wrote so many wonderful tunes. He was in his 70s when I revived Down Yonder, and they all said that it just gave him a new lease on life because he was sort of in the mothballs, you see. And this brought him back.
That's great.
Thrill.
He wrote a book in his 70s.
Yes, he did.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, Without Rhyme or Reason was the title of the book. I don't know whether it's still available or not, but we were both together on Burt Park's Break the Bank show. We were shown in the audience, and I was on several network shows during the height of Down Yonder's popularity in New York. And it was a real thrill, but of course my roots are in the South, in Nashville, and anywhere in the South. You'd get me beyond Louisville, Kentucky, and of course I've been all over. But it's good to go, but it's better to come back to our part of the world.
Country music is obviously alive and well, isn't it? Why do you think
Indeed
it continues to be so popular and enduring like that?
The people. It's its sincerity. It's the voice of America. And what really galls me is to see some of these people that are not country claiming to be because it's the popular thing to do now.
They're hopping on the bandwagon.
Yes. I can't call to mind. I hear these pop
like
stations.
Waylon Jennings or
Well, I think
Charlie Daniels.
I think they are both primarily country. I was thinking of people like, what's his name, Humperdinck?
Oh yeah, just pop stars.
They're about as
that'll
country
put out
as caviar.
Yeah, they just put out a country song because they think they can get a hit with it.
Yeah.
They're not really motivated.
Of course,
from the
this
heart or
isn't
anything.
anything unique about this. Tony Bennett did the same thing back in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Joni James did too. And numerous people, were doing country even back then. But
Yeah.
they didn't dub themselves a country artist.
That's right.
You
They
see,
didn't
now that's
masquerade.
what my complaint is, and that of most of the Opry entertainers feel this way. We
Yeah.
have an organization called the Association of Country Entertainers. We're not trying to take away from any other organization. We're only trying to preserve our heritage,
Yeah.
which I think is very vital to not only our industry, but the voice of our people.
Yeah.
Don't I sound like a crusader?
Well, why not?
But I really feel this
Yeah.
way. I
Well, they
really
say
do.
that one of the things that separates country music from other music is that country music tells a story. Do you think that's too
Yes,
simple a way to
No, I
describe it? Or
think the more simple you can describe it, the nearer it is to being the way it is.
there's more emotion, there's more
right.
human feeling than.
As let's see, I believe it was Roy Acuff who said, you can't define country music, but those who hear it know what it is
Yeah.
without giving it a label, and I think he pretty well summed it up.
Yeah.
Of course, the 62 stars on the Grand Old Opry, which involves between 80, over 100 people, I guess. And I'm the only native Nashvilleian.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
It is. Well,
How fortunate it was for me to be able to do what I wanted to do more than anything in the world.
Well, not many people can say that. That's
No.
good.
No, I wanted two things, and that was to be a mama. Of course, I got my kid the hard way.
Now, what was the name of that song that you?
Chosen Children.
That was
Then,
great. I like that.
Thank you. Every word of it's true, except where I said the judge smiled. He didn't smile. He belly laughed. But I didn't think I better write that in my tribute to my son.
How long ago did you write that?
He was just turned 2. I had him in the grocery cart in A&P, and I was buying the weekend groceries and going like a streak, and he was singing Jingle Bells at the top of his lungs. And this old man, I guess he was in his mid-70s, he came up and said, "Little boy, don't you know Christmas is over? Santa Claus done gone back to the North Pole." He says, "That's all right. He'll be back next year," and resumed his singing. And this old man turned to me and said, "Young lady, that's the happiest, most well-adjusted child for his age I've ever seen in my life. He must have made you awfully happy to have it so all together." I said, "Oh, you don't know." And then my conscience started bothering me that I had never thanked the judge. And I thought, well, this is not a unique situation. I'm sure it would echo the thoughts of every
adoptive
parent, right. And so I went home and wrote it in about 5-10 minutes.
It just poured right out.
It came right from the heart, yes.
It was ready.
And then when he's with me, I bring him on stage. Well, he was getting a little bit abashed at staying out there on stage with me while I did it, and him getting so big.
Yeah.
So
How old is he now?
He's 14.
Uh-huh.
I've had him since he was 4 days old.
Uh-huh.
And he was 14 December 7th. So a couple of years ago I wrote another one, and it's included in my latest album. And it's called Wesley U. The U being suggestive of a university, because he's teaching me much more than I'll ever be able to teach him.
What's the name of your latest album?
Delwood's Greatest Hits.
Oh, you mentioned that. Okay,
Yeah.
good. What's the future hold for you, Del? What sort of plans do you have?
Well, we're negotiating now with a couple of companies to do some of this TV albums, because that seems to be more what I need. Not that I would knock having a label affiliation, but that's
But
good.
doing it through your own company and selling to
Right.
the TV.
Well, the TV market is so essential today. You can sit in your living room and stick that check in an envelope and a stamp on it in your mailbox, and you never have to go downtown and fight parking. You never have to go downtown and rub blisters on your feet.
That's
You can
right.
do it in your living room, and I think I need that TV exposure.
Yeah.
And of course, I'll stay with the Grand Old Opry till they burn the place down, because I love it, and it's just my son and myself, and
Well, I think Wesley's lucky.
oh, anybody would want him. I'm the lucky one. Oh yeah, we got a good thing going.
Well, that's good.